In the 90s, you had a melting pot of talented bands from Seattle, Washington, and I guess you could say for the 80s, there was people in Los Angeles blowing up, but I feel like in the 80s, people went to Los Angeles, so it wasn't really organic. But today's not about that. It's about Texas and how there's some of the biggest up-and-coming bands coming out from Texas. The talent is undeniable. Genres ranging from screamo slash scramz to slowcore to shoegaze to alternative rock, I guess. There's really a bunch of different stuff everywhere, but I feel like Texas has a ton of different bands coming up right now. That place is so damn big for no damn reason. So it's not surprising to see that it has a bunch of different genres and a bunch of different cultures, I guess, that people are really into right now. I'm going to talk about my favorite bands coming out of this Texas band scene thingamabobber. And first, I want to get rid of the bands I've talked about a lot on every social media platform available, starting with the band Narrowhead. I feel like this band gravitates not only to my generation, but to older generations as well. And I feel like I know this because I've come across a couple Facebook groups that appreciate Narrowhead and actually like the music instead of downplaying them. And I won't say that praising newer bands for older generations is rare, but for the most part, older people or experienced people, I don't want to disrespect you guys, really do hate on younger bands. And whatever that stems from, it's always there and visible. But it's good to see that there is some inkling of love towards a band that covers a lot of elements. You got hard-hitting riffs, you got simmered down moments, you got relatable lyricism, a lot of stuff in there. Whatever you want to listen to, Narrowhead probably has a little bit of everything in it, so that's enough of talking about Narrowhead. The next band that I've talked about quite a bit, not a lot, but quite a bit on YouTube and probably a little bit more on TikTok. This band is called Glare, and I want to shed some light on Glare, even though they probably have enough light on them right now. Top tier shoegaze to the highest degree. As you guys know, shoegaze has been on quite the revival, I guess, and really resonates with the younger generation music crowd. But with newer shoegaze bands, I feel like they have more of a Deftones element where it's like they want to feel a little bit darker, feel a little bit more, I don't even know, just mysterious. But with Glare, it's kind of different. And in my opinion, and I feel like I saw someone comment this, they are way more slow dive than anything, sonically capturing echolocation with various guitar pedals. The vocals are not an afterthought. Glare hits on all cylinders, and they have a lot of new opportunities lining up in 2024, and I'm excited to see what they do with those opportunities. They'll probably kill it. One of those big opportunities is that they're going to perform at Sick New World in 2024. I think this is the second one. And for those of you who don't know, that's like a humongous festival with a bunch of bands all in one day still. Kind of whack. I've talked about it on this channel, but I don't know. They're performing there, so that's cool. So yeah, Glare, shoegaze, if they're ever in your area, check them out. This next band I also talked about, but not too much, I think, on any platform, but I still want to talk about them because they're from Texas, and that band is Bleed. I actually made a 2024 prediction about them, saying that they'd probably blow up this year if they release more music, which I think they will. And this is a band, if you're into Narrowhead, they're kind of in the same ballpark. They have some past and present members right now. But to me, whenever I listen to Bleed, it's a little bit more new metal riff, 1999-esque type of music that they got going on. The vocals are sweet. I feel like they kind of just, they're a band that anybody could be like, oh my god, I'm going to put them on my playlist. They're very accessible. And when I talk about Narrowhead and Bleed, I kind of do because they're in the same category or world because they have past, present members. But I feel like Narrowhead's a little bit more chill and Bleed is way more in your face. Even though Narrowhead does have in your face elements, I feel like Narrowhead has a lot of different stuff going on and Bleed kind of just right in your face, hard riffs, let's go. That's kind of the vibe I get. But yeah, Bleed's a fun band. Bleed's gonna be very good and great in the 2024 year. Shout out Bleed. This next band I haven't talked about on this channel, but I've talked about on TikTok, and I heard one song from them and I really love that song. But the band is called Audiobaton. I found them on my Spotify recommended, and the song that I love is called Alone for You, and wow, dude. When I first heard that song, I was like, wow, the vocals sound like a little bit like Oasis. I don't know if I'm tripping on that, but they hit the My Bloody Valentine button with the guitar distortion, and I'm just like, what is going on? This is a weird mixture I've never heard before, and they kind of just blew me away. The instrumentation was very 90s yo-yo, you know, just like, you know what I mean? Just like, oh man, I was like, wow. but that is very different from the other songs that they do have out. There are some elements within the band that are kind of more like indie rock, and the song that I'm talking about, that I'm really raving about, was their latest EP, so they might just be testing out new sounds, new stuff or whatever, and I like that within a band, trying to find different stuff, trying to just do new things, which is, a good thing because music taste changes within people and within bands. So it sounded like they were going into a cool direction, and the music that they had before, I even liked too. So all around, this band and the name Audiobaton, what? That is such a cool name. A lot of quality and adventurous type of music going on with Audiobaton, and I feel like everybody should listen to them. They're very good. So shout out Audiobaton. This next band I'm going to talk about is called Phonefoot, and this is the first screamo / scramz band that I've ever talked about on this channel. And that being said, I probably will make a video on scramz, which it's called that, screamo or whatever. For people not familiar with this type of music, honestly, let me try to simplify it for you. Lots of beautiful emo guitar riffs, and I'm saying like very beautiful, like math rock almost, which sounds stupid, but it's kind of like that. And when you hear this instrumentation, you think that people are going to sing, but no, people are going to be screeching their lungs out. And it feels so aggressive when you first listen to it, but when you get yourself into that state of mind of why people would want to make this type of music, you start to understand that there's always that bit of emotion in a human where it's like, I gotta get it out. So whatever a human has to do to get that emotion out into music and feel better in some way, dude, and then it sounds good too, I'm just like, man, what is this recipe? Phonefoot has a great album. I'll put it on the screen right here that you can listen to, and man, very good experience. There's a lot of great scramz going on right now as well, and not just in Texas but everywhere. Very powerful stuff from humans, and you can relate to it, or maybe you can't, and that's fine, but other people can relate to it, so let's not downplay anything or anything like that. So shout out having emotions. This next band I'm going to talk about is a shoegaze band as well, and they're called Kraus. Kraus has a almost glare type sound, but very different, but it's very polished and clean sounding and very explosive when you put on your headphones. The waves of reverb and distortion sound very welcoming and not very aggressive, and it's just such a beautiful sound when you listen to it. And whenever I try to find a picture of the band, I don't really find anything too crazy. It's probably them at shows and stuff, so it sounds like they're very into the music and just putting out the music. Whatever comes with it, and that's kind of cool, man. They're just focused on the tunes, and it shows. It's very good shoegaze stuff. They make music, obviously. Oh my god, they make great music, and it's nothing to scoff at, really. They're very, very good at what they do, and they're perfecting their craft at all times, it seems like. So shout out Kraus. The next band I want to talk about is called Trauma Ray, and I have a different perspective, I guess, because I've seen them live, and it's shoegaze, but to me it sounds a little bit more indie rock with the vocals, and that's what it reminds me of. I don't know why. The instruments are dreamy, and it's the classic shoegaze sound. It's a little bit more rugged whenever you listen to it. They don't have any albums out right now, but they do have a few EPs, and the stuff that they have out right now has garnered a lot of listens, and I'm talking about like millions. I do wonder what their sound will be like, or how they'll approach an album in the next year or this year even. I don't know what's going to happen, but I honestly can't put my finger on it. I don't know if they're going to go very shoegazy and polished sound, Kraus-like or whatever, or just like distortion, but good vocals, in your face a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling. When I saw them live, they were very good. I felt like they were just in their zone in the moment, and it was very visible, and I was just like, damn, this band is good. So yeah, shout out Trauma Ray. Cool name too. Man, I've talked about this band as well, but they're also from Texas, so you're just seeing how stacked this state is with the amount of talent and music, and that's the band Teethe. Slowcore revival, whatever you want to call it. I guess slowcore never really died, but they're kind of just killing it right now and at the top of their game, the kings of their craft. Stories being told, sceneries being made, visions being drawn, sounds being sounded. There's sunshine, there's clouds, there's hypnotic moments. There's a lot of stuff in this band. There's a maturity with the sound. There's always a purpose whenever Teethe release music. They'll always be worth listening to. Teethe, I've talked about you enough, man, but I gotta mention you again. And this last band, I'm such a fan of. And they also have a Teethe member within this band as well. And this band is called Bedlocked. I think I'm just going to call them an alternative rock band because they have so many elements within them, and it's just like there's slowcore, there's humongous distortion, so that just blows slowcore out of the water. That's not even slowcore anymore, I guess. I don't know. I guess you can call it like a slacker rock type of thing, but is that disrespectful? I don't know. They have some songs with some like orchestra music in the background, and I'm just like, bro, what? I did not expect that. Some songs have a muffled like vocal tone, and I'm just like, man, it's like bedroom rock. Just make stuff in your bedroom, and it's just like, wow, I want to make something like that. And whenever you listen to the band, you can see that they want to do something different with each sound, and it doesn't really get repetitive or anything like that. I love the vocals. The delivery is always honest and true, and whatever happens with the band, they kind of just want to make music about how they feel, and it shows, man. And once again, kind of like Kraus, not too many images of the band because I don't know why, but they're focused on the music, and that's always a good sign. You want the best music possible. The band has an album called Sprawl, which I believe used to be the band's name, and they also have another one called Bedlocked, so it's just a self-titled album. You can hear the innocence and struggle, and sometimes the moments are real sad and stuff, but you know what? That's the kind of music I'm into. I like music that I can probably relate to, and just stuff that sounds good. Good distortion in there, good slow drums. It's awesome. And like I said, they both share the same drummer, so that's freaking awesome. But not only is that awesome, they also released a split EP with Teethe, so it's Bedlocked and Teethe, and they performed to an insane level, man. The vocals are probably my favorite element, and I keep saying element, quality, and all this stuff, but you know what? That's kind of how I describe things, so, elements, features, abilities, all that stuff, you know what I mean? Bedlocked is 100% worth listening to, and all these bands are all worth listening to, so yeah, Bedlocked. Shout out all these bands. Let me know what you think of these bands. Did I leave anybody out? And if I did, comment them down below and show everybody in the comments that there's so much awesomeness in Texas right now. So many great bands. What do you think of these bands? Am I dead wrong? Are these bands terrible? I don't think so, so you're probably stupid. And if you haven't heard of these bands, I'll leave a Spotify link to all their music down below. Show some love to Texas and some underground bands in general. So Texan bands rock.